The National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union says it's fed up and out of options. Nehawu says its members will embark on a programme of action to demand better protection for frontline workers.
The union says it held fruitless meetings with government departments in recent weeks explaining its concerns. 240 healthcare workers have died of COVID-19 related complications locally.
The bulk of those are nurses in the public sector. Nehawu now saying it will begin with pickets on Monday, which could lead to a possible strike on the 10th of September.
We want to inform you that the National Union will use the strike of the National Health Laboratory Services, NHLS, as a launching pad for the overall implementation of its national program of action as it starts tomorrow. Our members and workers at NHLS who will join the picket lines starting from the 21st, which means tomorrow, August 2020, after the employer refused to implement the outcomes of the settlement agreement from last year, August. Activities of our program of action, as we outline on the 28th, will begin with the Tsaya Letsatsi La Leave action, which will see workers flocking the employer's offices on the 24th, which means next week, Monday, of August 2020, to apply for a leave day for the 25th August 2020. So it means on Monday, members are applying for leave for Tuesday. The Tsaya Letsatsi leave would be followed by lunch hour picket demonstrations, which will take place in all workplaces from the 24th until the 27th August 2020. And on the 28th August, we'll be calling our members to join us in the lockdown through what we are declaring Siyahlala Day of Action, whereby all our members across all sectors we organize shall be observing lockdown as they are no longer feeling safe at the workplace.
Our reporter Mbali Thethani has been following that Nehawu story. She joins me in studio now. Mbali, this issue of striking has been a long time coming for the health workers who literally since the onset of this pandemic in the country have never quite been satisfied with some of the things that they've had to endure.
And that's right, Kathy. We've seen a number of healthcare workers. They've reached out to us on a number of occasions, just talking about the state in which the healthcare sector finds itself. We've had nurses saying that, well, they don't have enough protective equipment. And this is something that Nehawu says that, well, now they are mobilizing and it's time for the healthcare sector to picket and to strike because it seems as if this is falling on deaf ears. They're saying that they've held numerous meetings with the health department, with the Public Service Administration Department, as well as the Social Development Department, and saying that, well, basically now they are just forced to take this matter into their own hands, and they have basically outlined a number of things that they will be doing, Kathy. As from Monday, we understand that they will be applying for leave and saying that their healthcare workers will start with lunchtime pickets from Tuesday, and this will go on until Thursday. And then on Friday, Kathy, they're saying that they will also then ask their members to stay away and not come to work. And then this will then also be then exceeded with some sort of protest. It will then be taken to the union buildings where they will then hand over a memorandum of demands to the president, saying that, well, these are frontline workers right in the forefront of this COVID-19 battle. We know that a number of people have passed away, a number of the healthcare workers themselves. We know that at least 240 of those healthcare workers have now passed away due to COVID-19. So they're saying that they will then proceed with the strike action if it is not heard on the 3rd of September. They've given government the deadline of the 3rd of September, and then they will then blow out the strike. And come the 10th, they are saying that their members will stay at home, Kathy.
It's very unusual, even when we do have lunchtime pickets, to not have that affect the actual delivery of labor or services. So let's talk about which members of Nehawu are going to be affected. And at this point, how much are they expecting services at different hospitals and clinics to also be affected?
Well, they say that their members do fall under the public healthcare sector as well as the private healthcare sector, Kathy. And they're saying that they're mobilizing all of their members because it's all of their members essentially who are at risk because they don't have the necessary protective equipment. So they're basically saying that this will affect all of their healthcare members. But Kathy, something that is very important in all of this as they are going on strike, I asked them the question around, well, aren't you concerned that the ramifications of this protest action, what it will do to the healthcare sector? We've heard numerous healthcare, well, the Minister of Health saying that the healthcare sector is quite strained during this time. We know that a number of their members have been infected, so then that means that they have to self-isolate. So, you know, when you look at, you know, in terms of the muscle within the hospitals itself, it will also be affected, and this may actually result in a disaster for the healthcare sector, should it happen, Kathy.
One of the things that has also rather been on Nehawu's agenda is the issue of salary increases. Does this form part of why they're striking?
Well, of course, we know that they signed that 2018 agreement, and we know that those salary increases did not kick in. And this is something that they've raised, saying that, well, we signed this agreement with government in 2018, but you've not adhered to that specific legal agreement, so they say. So, you know, when they do protest, these are some of their demands and these are some of their concerns, saying that, well, right now we are in a pandemic, the healthcare sector is strained. Those in this industry are even working longer hours, you know. So this whole issue as well, Kathy, comes to the fore as to, well, we were supposed to have these salary increases, and now we right in the forefront of COVID-19 and nothing's been done.
I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, the health workers of this country are the ones that have been on the front lines, and the least that could have happened is that the concerns that they're raising should have been taken as seriously as they needed to. Now, how are they being concerned about the impact of some of the lack of provision of PPE for its workers and what that is doing, especially when it comes to the loss of life of health workers in particular, especially nurses that we know have been the hardest hit by COVID-19. Mbali Thethani there watching that story for us.